Hi, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Community Leaders. I'm your host, Felicia Gladden. I have with me the wonderful, the great Andrea Barefield. She is the leader of District 1 Waco City Council. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I know you guys are so busy.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah,
Little bit.
we're doing so much in the city.
Aren't we?
I think the biggest complaints people have,
The construction.
the construction.
So our mayor is a father of young kids, right? So
Okay.
he is the king of dad jokes, right? Lame as they may be.
Okay.
And so he tells the story every time he gets to the mic. I'll be out to dinner with my wife and family, and two, folks will come up and be like, when are we gonna get when are you gonna fix these streets? My car is out of alignment because of these potholes and
Right.
da 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 da. And he'll be like, 5 minutes later, somebody's gonna say, when are you gonna stop fixing these streets? Because I can't go anywhere.
Right.
And I know, and it sucks, and I'm kind of sorry, but not really.
Gotcha.
Because it has to happen.
Yeah.
With the influx of people, with our numbers, period. If you
Yeah.
just, if we didn't have anything going on and it just us, over time, your infrastructure has to be renewed
Right.
and restored. Add, 2, 3, 4, 5 million people on top of that
lot
at
of
any
people.
given time.
Yeah.
In and out. Your infrastructure has to be,
Yeah.
repaired. So, but let me tell you this.
Okay.
2025. Oh
Okay.
my God.
So we got a few more years. It should be done.
Oh my God.
Okay. Because they said that about the Texas Highway Project.
Hey,
25 years ago?
wait now.
They still want me to get to Dallas.
I can't tell you about the Texas Highway Project, but I can tell you in these United States of Waco,
Got
we
you.
finished 18 months ahead of schedule
Okay.
and on budget. I can't speak about anything
Okay,
else.
okay.
But the Texas Department of Transportation and our Metropolitan Planning Authority,
Yes.
we got that, and the city of Waco and a few two, three incentive dollars.
Okay.
Oh no, we finished ahead of time.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Before we get to like your role as council,
Sure.
we talked about the traffic. Let's talk about just life growing up, because you are originally from Waco.
I am a
right?
native Wacoan.
Yes. So let's talk to me. Just like, what was your life? Let's do your grandparents first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my grandparents were my mother's parents were educators. In Tig, Texas, my grandfather was a principal. My grandmother taught home economics and played piano for every church. Because when you're a small town, first and third Sunday, second and fourth Sunday. So
Oh, wow.
you just
Okay.
and fifth Sunday you go to the Primitive Baptist Church. It was probably the best time ever. I spent my entire summers with my grandparents until I was 14 years old.
Oh, that's
I have no idea what my parents did when I was gone.
They had a party.
Listen, because I was at my grandparents' house. So, that meant we were at the farm because we have a farm. I was feeding cows. I was fishing. I was going to every choir rehearsal. We were walking down the street to the snow cone lady. They gave me community.
Yeah.
And because, like my grandmother, the lot that was next to my grandparents' house, she had a big garden on, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
And that was everybody's garden.
Yeah.
So, whoever, at any point, any of the neighbors may be in there weeding.
Yeah.
But also getting what they needed.
Yeah.
Miss Johnson, Sister Johnson, I cook so-and-so with our vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you some.
Yeah.
And that was a true sense of what village mentality was for me. My father's parents were deceased before I was born, so I never had that experience with them. But I was eternally grateful for my grandparents. My mother was so upset because my esteemed grandfather, the principal of Booker T. Washington High School, the esteemed community leader, the Masonic leader, the blah blah blah. She walked in the house and I may have been 4, and he was standing on his head, teaching me how to do a handstand.
Okay.
She was like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" The baby needs to learn. Okay. I was spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful.
Yeah. I read a quote this week. It said, the problem with today's youth is that they don't sit around and snap green beans with their grandmothers. I said, oh my God.
That part.
That is real.
Because
I remember that.
You snapped plenty peas in your life.
Yes. And it wasn't even a question of
Sit
if
down,
I was going
snap
to do
these
it.
peas.
Right. Here your bowl. And this, but then the conversation.
You just sitting there talking. And then people would come up and and they
the
leave.
door was open. People community walk in. My grandmother had a China berry tree. She had a garden and she had a weeping willow. So every day at 12, I would look out the window and watch the tree cry onto her garden. But it's like, and we don't have that anymore.
No. The we love the fact that information is instantaneous now.
Yeah.
But it takes away so much from what time actually allows.
Yeah.
And how much you learn in silence.
Yeah.
And how much you learn in stillness. And how much you learn just being a part of an experience. So yeah, I hate that. And I mean, if I handed my sons a bowl of beans right
they
now.
would know what to do. My son would be like,
what?
I don't know what you're doing.
What you want me to do with this?
Can we go to HEB and just get some? I mean, walking to Miss Hicks, the little Miss Hicks East West. Everybody walked to Miss Hicks. If you have nickel and you got paid, I got paid maybe a nickel or 2 pennies for snapping my peas. I went and bought me some penny candy and I was good. But
that was Miss Biggers. Like I said, you walk down the street, she had everything.
Everything.
Pickles, candy.
Pickles, candy.
Snow cones.
Oh, that's awesome.
See?
I know. Okay, let's get to you. Grandparents. Father, this is your father. Lessons learned from your father.
Oh my gosh. So my father was, if I had to describe him, he was a quiet man, which is, you think about my mama and that's, but daddy was the balance. While he didn't finish college, but he probably was one of the most learned men I knew. He was a history fanatic. I mean, everything I learned about African Native culture, biblically, that came from my dad. I mean, he was like literally a walking encyclopedia. Dad was quiet, but he was powerful. He loved really hard. He was the youngest of 8.
Wow.
And I really only got to know 2 of his sisters growing up, but I mean, just they loved really hard. He could laugh like nobody's business, but then any other time he'd be like, not a whole lot. What he said was important when he said it, but it wasn't going to be wasted with words. Useless words. Like Dad didn't like to talk on the phone, like at all. But if you sat with him, he'd talk to you all day. Yeah. But, but just clearly, the inability to judge books by their cover. Don't get caught up in titles and degrees and status. Dad was, until he died, it was a deacon at Carver Park. I mean, just an incredibly faithful man. Yeah. And he taught me how to be quiet.
Oh, wow. I'm learning that lesson now. I thought I learned it, but with some things that's happened in my world now, I'm learning that lesson again. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay.
Because, I mean, when we don't get those lessons, they will repeat themselves.
Yeah. So I'm learning that. I think I'm mastering it. I'm doing a really good job.
Listen.
I think I'm doing a great job of learning it.
I think you are.
Sometimes I'll sit like this. Yes. Now, your dad, talk about your dad. Yeah. Now, everybody, well, not everybody, we won't tell your mom's name, of course, and her esteemed title. Then we're going to get on your mom, because your mom was like a different creature.
Listen. Okay. So, Mae Jackson is my mother. She was the first popularly elected mayor, African-American mayor of the city of Waco. Of course, Oscar Ducange was the first African-American mayor, but that was at the time where council was appointing their mayors. So she was the first African-American to be elected by the citywide body, first African-American female. Served on council 2 terms, and then from 2000 to 2004, ran for mayor in 2004. And won handily, and passed away February of 2005. So she wasn't 10 months into her mayoral tenure, and she left us.
Yeah. I distinctly remember my mom telling me when she passed. My mom loved her, and I was talking to my siblings about how even though we're born into the same family, I had a different experience as a younger person.
Yeah, because so I'm the baby too,
Yeah.
and I have older siblings, and when they're gone, they're at a different place, and so mom's journey, especially her political journey, a lot of it I walked with her because I was the last one home, and you come on, you come on, go with me to this meeting, sit over there, seen not heard,
right?
But I mean that's kind of how I was in heavy political rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, like as a child, I met Barbara Jordan and had long conversations with her.
Awesome.
I met Mickey Leland and had long conversations
Awesome.
with her. I mean, juggernauts of public service, of social action, I got to listen to and sit with. I mean, Mom was McLennan County's coordinator for Ann Richards' campaign. And, her mom, Ann's mom lived in Cameron Park. And so the inauguration, we had to, my favorite Ann Richards story, we had to go pick up Miss Ona. Mama says, we're going to pick up Miss Ona. So, okay. I'm a junior in high school, I think. And we pull up to the governor's mansion. All right. Okay. Stop right there. And so Mom says, let me move some stuff. Go ring the doorbell. Okay.
Right.
So I ring the doorbell. It's a, side kind of entrance. And Ann, or Governor Homegirl as my mama called her, opened the door. And I kind of look like, and she says, what? And I said, well, you opened the door.
Right.
And she said, it's my house.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, facts. But having that kind of exposure, was an unusual childhood, I guess, if you will. But I got to see and experience, again, if you have the four-parent seed of community, then you have the parent seed of engagement and activation. You couldn't have told me that I was going to run for office. I say it all the time. I think children of faith leaders or preachers and children of politicians, two choices. You either run to it or you run from it.
Yeah.
And that was not what we were going to do.
Right.
I mean, I was, my field is PR and marketing, and I was always an avid lover of the arts, so I was in performing arts and doing that kind of thing, and when we decided to move here, I remember we got acclimated into the city, and I was thinking about some of the things that Mom championed and began, and I didn't see that anymore, not in that way, and I was asking, well, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
And I was looking handily for who was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't find anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it got that it was me. But I had a conversation with my husband and my children and my dog, and they were like, oh, we're cool with it. So I decided that, in order to not let my mother's legacy die, because my mom was impactful on so many different levels. I mean, yes, she was a political zealot. I mean, just everywhere. But, she had a pulse on the community, mainly because before she got into politics even, she was engaged in the community she had a show on Channel 10, Minority Forum, came on every Saturday morning, interrupted my good cartoons. But, she was keeping the community engaged and informed, and that was what she did. It was who she was. So, I mean, that piece of it was always a part, and so the impact she made, because people felt they knew her, because every Saturday morning they would come, she went into their home and she talked to them.
Yeah, because we had to watch our cartoons early, because at 10 my mom was going to turn the channel. We had one TV.
We all did. Okay, so there was no you go in your room and watch whatever. No, we turning the TV.
Yeah.
Turning the TV. We're
going to sit and watch.
Listen, and that's what it was. And so, that that in itself endeared her to so many people. Even if they didn't physically engage with her, they felt that because she knew it was important to them.
Yeah.
And she was able to deliver that. And so that's why I know, well, I can't answer for y'all what her death meant and how impactful it was. I was able to see it just in the response. Even now, I mean, when I first moved back, this woman I called, she was one of the workers at the Historic Waco Foundation, and she called me to talk to me about my job and started crying because I miss your mother so.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, I know.
Right.
I know you do.
Right.
But, you know, while you all lost a leader, you know, I lost my mama.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because with the Mae Jackson Development Center, where it's the water office and where planning is, nothing can get built without going through Mae Jackson. So I say she's still with us.
Right.
She's still running stuff.
And it's so funny because I remember, like, as the youngest child, so my mom would make me go with her and talk to people. And I distinctly remember this would happen every time your mom would come in the building. My mom was there. My mom would wait till she talked to everybody, and she did. And she would tell me, sit down. And she said, I want you to listen. And your mom will wait, and they'll be the last people in the room. Some church services, they'll be the last women in the room, and she will sit and just talk to my mom about what's going on in the city, state of Texas. I mean, she was always there. Like, my mom felt like I have somebody who cares. Like, cause she didn't have to wait. And she knew my mom was gonna wait. Cause she saw my mom waiting on the side. She knew Margaret's gonna wait. So I'm okay, Margaret, I'm gonna come to you last. Like, and she knew, and they would just sit and talk. Like, what person does that now? Like, you, but like, that, because she didn't have to.
No, yes, she did.
She did, but
yes, she did. I mean, because if you are truly in this for the people,
yeah, she was.
You can't not talk to the people.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, no, you make time for what's important.
Yeah.
Period.
And I remember my mom distinctly telling me, Felicia, this is probably one of the most intelligent women that I've ever met in my life.
Without question.
Yes. So that's why she loved talking to her. She loved conversing, and she made me listen. And of course, me, I'm like, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? I could be doing this. But I'm there for 30, 45 minutes, so I might as well listen.
And now as in your adulthood,
yeah,
what did you pick up?
Oh, all that knowledge.
Listen.
The unsolicited knowledge.
Oh my gosh. And you know.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna move on. Let's talk about your role. Okay, listen, we talked about you talking to your family and your husband and your dog about becoming a counselor. What was that really turning point where you was like, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna do this?
So when Reverend Austin got sick again, because I mean, so he and Daddy were deacons together at Carver Park. So I've known. I mean, and my mama called. She was one of the people that called him Liver. I don't know why, but
Liver. Reverend Austin.
Yep. Because he loved living onions.
Okay. Probably from Luby's.
You already know.
Okay. We aging ourselves.
We miss Luby's. So she when he got sick again.
Okay.
You know, because he and I talk all the time, and he said you need to do something.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me to run for his seat.
Okay.
He didn't tell me that. He said, honestly, you need to run for county commissioner because they get paid.
Okay.
But you know, for me, it wasn't a thing. You know, that wasn't a thought yet at all. And he got sick, and then he stepped down. I did apply for his unexpired term.
Okay.
And I did not get it. There were 15 people.
Oh, wow.
Who applied for the unexpired.
Did not know that.
Yeah, 15. And we all had to interview, and it was a long day.
Okay.
But I did not get selected. They chose Noah Jackson, who again I also have known all my life.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I said, but you know what? If it's really in me to do it, than if, because Noah had made clear that he was not going to run for a full term. I mean, he was an older gentleman. Yeah. But I knew that, I knew the directives that Reverend Austin wanted to see completed. I knew he was going to complete them without question, and did. But so I said, well, this way, if the people, if I convince the people,
okay,
then I'm not beholden to anybody because I wasn't selected.
Right.
I was elected.
Right.
It's funny, everybody talks about Waco not having term limits for council. And I said, sure they do. Every first Saturday in May.
Yeah.
That is your, every 2 years, every first Saturday in May. Your term limit could be if you're not reelected.
Right.
And so, I pushed a campaign. I mean, the good news about watching campaigns all my life, I ran a pretty good one. Yeah. And I knew, the first pass was hearing where we needed to go. First pass was hearing what we were missing.
Okay.
Second pass was hearing where we needed to go.
Okay.
Third pass will be how do we keep it?
Okay.
Because I think, we're not where we need to be.
Right.
We're certainly not where we were.
Agreed.
And I know my constituents, I'm telling y'all, my district, one, I'm the most geographically diverse. Two,
yes.
If you don't know, it's East Waco proper, which is east of the river.
Yes.
Don't look at a map.
Don't look, especially Waco.
Don't look at a Waco map. Yeah. East of the river, so East Waco. I have parts of North Waco. So I have Cameron Park to MCC.
Yep.
Kind of 19th, 25th is the cutoff, depending on how you're doing the zigzag, because gerrymandering is real. And then parts of South Waco. So on the other side of LaSalle to Highway 6.
Gotcha.
Or Loop 340, I mean. Well, same difference. That's part of me up to 12th Street. So I also have TSTC, I have MCC, yep. I have, so the juggernauts of educational opportunities, non-traditional educational opportunities, that's me.
Yeah.
And what I want to see, and, the seeds that I want to plant for the next generation are making on-ramps for the future, creating access. And so that's whatever you want to talk about: financial access, food access, educational access, workforce access, opportunities. That's what's important to me and what drives me. And then, we had, growing up, I saw in District 1, whole, strong communities. And I think that those whole, strong communities are still there, but we need more because of the shortage of housing that nationally is a factor affecting municipalities right now, but especially in Waco, how we build stronger neighborhoods, whole neighborhoods, because we're not landlocked yet. We've still got space. I mean, I've got city owns about 280 acres in South Waco. That's in District 1, and that seems like a really awesome space to build houses. Yeah.
Because I know I was telling her early we started taping, she does these little mini videos in your car before she goes. And like when you leave council meetings, and they're just so informative. And I learned so much. Because sometimes I can't get to the council meeting online. Like I'm busy,
sure.
But I'm like, I can watch this 6-minute little car video. And I know it's kind of odd, but I'm like, what if all our elected officials will make a 6-minute car video to tell us what's happening?
Some do, and I mean, like I know Councilmember Holmes will kind of it's text on his social media. I am a talker, and so it's just easier for me to give it to you verbally than hop on and put that on social media as opposed to making a post. So look for lives from me. Because
I was making dinner. I'm like, she went live. Let me hit play. I'm making dinner and I find out what's going on in the community. I'm like, they have all these things going on. But then I was thinking, it's a lot of things happening and a lot of issues. So what is your issue? You talked about housing shortage.
That's the huge one. We're 5,000 as a city. We're 5,000 units short.
So where are these people living?
Well, multiple. Sometimes they're living with multiple families.
Okay.
You know, that includes our unhoused population.
Okay.
Because, you know, homeless is not a thing. I mean, you may be living on a couch somewhere. You may be living in your car.
Right.
But if you don't have a structure to call your home.
Right.
So that includes our unhoused. That includes those living in substandard conditions.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, we have increased our code enforcement team because, you know, slumlords are real.
Yeah.
And the only way we can combat that is to put that law in your life.
Yeah.
And I can do this
Right.
way. I mean, I can think you're awful and standing on the sideline, but the only way I can do that is combat you with you violated this ordinance. I mean, the reason that we sued Trentwood Apartments for their substandard living was because it was gross, but let me fix it this way so you don't have a choice, because I'm going to fine you thousands of dollars every day.
Right. And, you know, I actually had a few students who lived in Trentwood, and that by you and your actions and what the city did, I didn't realize what they were going through over there. It was unthinkable.
Oh, it was disgusting.
And like the sewage lines and everything. I'm like, how could you as a manager keep back? And it was by the playgrounds. They didn't fix it.
That's
right. And they were, the families that I'm referring to were students here at community college. So they couldn't afford to leave. It's where they had to stay for the time being. So
the end of that, you know, they did correct their violations.
Okay.
And then sold Trentwood.
Yeah.
They were out of California. They weren't here. They sold them to a company that is, it's a nationwide company, but they have lots of Texas roots. Like they have units in Dallas, units in Killeen. And the renovations that are being done right now at Trentwood are roughly around $66,000 per door.
Wow.
Per door. 132 units.
Yeah.
You're getting a whole new house.
Yeah.
Because you needed one.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, I don't, the question, a lot of folks talk, you know, affordable housing is buzz right now.
Right.
And I mean, the sad part is the housing and urban development will define affordable housing as housing you can afford.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what number that is, because it changes every day. I mean, depends on how much eggs cost today.
Right, because eggs a few weeks ago,
so,
we're not talking about that.
So, but the thing is, okay, so how do we build more housing?
Yes.
That is what people want.
Right.
You know, but also for those who need housing that is what we're going to term affordable or livable or whatever, that it too is of quality.
Yes.
Of high standard.
Yes.
But attainable.
Yeah.
You know, so like the world that is made of a whole bunch of mixed income folks.
Yes.
Why don't you build mixed income communities?
Yes.
So that's kind of what we're doing. In District 2, the Floyd Casey developments that are coming, those are going to be from townhomes and single family homes.
Okay.
There may be some apartments. There will be affordable units in them. We don't have a set minimum. We are encourage people to lean into upwards of 30%.
Okay. That's
affordability.
A good one. That's a good number.
I mean, you know, you got a bare naked minimum, but you know, don't ask us for much.
Yeah. That's a good
number. One of my favorite people in the world, he was building an apartment complex, and he was telling me wasn't able going to be able to have that many workforce units.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And I walked out the room because we were done talking.
All right.
And I said, I hope you don't need anything.
Right.
You know what?
Right.
He needed something.
Of course.
So let's talk.
Right.
So we got about 15%
Okay.
workforce units. I mean, it was a small development, so I was like,
that's not
fair.
bad. Okay.
I'm not upset, but don't tell me what you can't do.
Right.
But the good thing about the city of Waco and what a good portion of our ARPA dollars are going towards housing.
Oh, good.
Because we know what the need is, and we know what Waco's affordability and AMI is.
Okay.
So we're trying to figure out how to do all that, but we're incentivizing in a way that can offer, not incentivizing you to put your stuff in the ground, but what I'm incentivizing you to do is if you don't have to pay as much, then you can decrease the cost to the constituent. We've got our housing crisis. We've got our workforce crisis because right now, well, not a crisis, but condition. Our folks in Waco who are young folks specifically are not coming out work ready.
Agreed.
And so we've got to find a way to help them be work ready.
Yes.
We did this whole big influx of bringing in living wage, with growth trajectory jobs and industries into the city. I mean, we just closed the $1 billion deal, but these people are going to have employees who are ready to work.
Right.
So we're trying to increase the opportunity for workforce ready students or young people or old people or whatever. So how do we do that? Well, you're going to have more training facilities.
Yeah.
So, TSGC is going to build the training facility. We're increasing the assisting with MCC even as much as we can. And then, like, for my district, I'm super proud of this, is that we are opening a STEAM center in the Bledsoe Miller Recreation Center. The city had the opportunity to purchase the Doris Miller YMCA, and we are going to transition our recreation center that is the Bledsoe to the Doris Miller Recreation and Community Center. And the Bledsoe Miller will then become the Bledsoe Miller STEAM Center. And so it'll provide an opportunity for out-of-school exposure to science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. I'm a performing artist by trade, and so I'll never give it up. And art is in everything, including the sciences, so let's make it fun in that way. But it's just an opportunity to offer a low to no cost or no cost to low cost out of school training, because yes, there are facilities around town where you can get you can send your children to do robotics and to do gaming, platform, blah blah blah, but it costs.
It costs.
I mean, and it's not cheap
at all.
I mean, because the technology is not cheap.
Agreed.
So we get it.
Yeah.
But what happens if I offer it to you?
Oh, awesome.
And so, I mean, I'm super proud of that. We should open 24.
Okay, one more year. That's it. That's
because
awesome.
we had to get Miller ready.
Got you.
So they could move.
That makes sense.
Because we can't close doors on community center. That's a hard no for me. So we needed to make sure that Miller was going to be open and ready. Everything will be ready June except the pool.
The pools. I saw the pools. Yeah.
We closer to the indoor pool than the outdoor space, but I mean, you measure twice and cut once. I think if we have an opportunity to make a phenomenal outdoor aquatic area and have an indoor pool for year-round swim training, come on. It's a no-brainer. Awesome. So I'm so excited about those things moving. I've got to it's a couple of more, if you have a financial desert, if you have an education desert, we clearly have food deserts.
Yep.
I am very close to bringing in a grocer into East Waco.
That's awesome.
That is African American.
Awesome.
And very close. But I know, and outside of that, so you'll have a standalone grocery store. Awesome. Let's find, there are opportunities, federal funding opportunities for urban agriculture.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's get back into the gardens.
Yes.
Let us have
Yeah.
community gardens.
Agreed.
Come on,
Agreed.
snap these peas.
I know.
And so, but there are opportunities like
Yeah.
that because that I was talking to. I just got back from the National League of Cities, and I was talking to one of the leadership in FDA, and he was talking about the social justice of community farming.
Oh.
And I said, all right. He said, think about what you learn.
Yeah.
When you farm or when you garden.
Yeah.
Or when you plant trees.
Yeah.
And so there is an opportunity for that type of learning environment and rehabilitation. That's awesome. Connectivity into and there are people who are doing it. I mean, you've got urban gardens all over East Waco and South Waco. So let's make it a whole thing. So
and it's actually one like in North Waco off of
down
Concord.
I
saw a guy the other day, and I should have stopped to help him, but I'm a story because it's beautiful, and it's only one man doing it.
See,
it's beautiful though.
See,
and So this is awesome opportunities for our city. So one location, like we have STEM, a grocery store, a bank. Of course, the churches, they're going to be there. But you're building community. And that's what we want. We just want to make sure we keep building community.
But it takes us all.
It does.
It can't, you shouldn't want it to be.
Yeah.
But one person. Because what is your say in that?
Yeah.
Honestly, civics is yours.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that you are, your right to and privilege and freedom to do is to choose and make sound choices about who represents you, who speaks for you. And but again, your choices come that first Saturday in May, every other year. And I tell people all the time, because I have an intern and he doesn't, he's not from here.
Okay.
And I said, do you vote where you sleep? And he says, no, ma'am, I don't. I vote at home. And I said, okay, so do you drink water here?
Right.
And he says, yeah. I said, well, I didn't say drink water here. I said, you brush your teeth here? He said, yeah. I said, don't you want to know who is responsible for managing and overseeing that water? Now, I'll tell you this. When I was in college, I always voted in McLennan County, but I had a reason to.
Right.
I had a personal connect, even before Mama ran, but I always had a personal reason to vote in McLennan County. And now, if you have that, that's your business.
Right.
Honor that. But if not, you have to vote where you sleep because you want to. Anytime you're in a place for, I say a year, if you're at least going to be there a year. Yeah. You need to be a part of that, of the decisions that are made. At least be aware of them and know who's representing you. Because again, gotta brush my teeth. I might want that water clean.
Just a little bit. Yeah, this is the whole purpose of this podcast. Because I realized our students were focusing so much on federal and national government, which is fine. I want you to.
It is.
But do you know who your mayor is? Do you know who your city council? Do you know who your county commissioner is? Do you know who your justice of peace? Like, I'm asking these questions and they just don't know. And they see them in the grocery stores.
All the time.
All the time. I see our elected officials. They're regular people who walk among us. You should know that person.
And the things that affect you in your day-to-day life have nothing to do with, have little to do with state government and state politics. Almost nothing to do with national, your day-to-day.
I'm with you.
But your local government?
All day.
And your local school board?
Yes.
And your local college trustees?
I agree.
Those are the people who affect you 24/7.
Yeah.
And trust and believe, it's nothing like my boys in high school now, but you're in the pickup line at the elementary school. Excuse me. Or the middle school. They were middle school then. Hey, can you talk to me about...
Oh, yeah.
Sure, how can I help you? Or you're reaching in H-E-B for the bread box and, hey, can you... Yep, sure can.
Yeah.
Because you can reach me.
Right.
I don't know that I can... you can get your state reps and senators and certainly congressmen and senators that way. I don't
Your
know.
president. Try calling the White House, but
You'll get that recording like everybody else. But I mean, but you can reach us. We're, they're at the Eastern Little League games.
Yeah.
And
I tell my students, I'm like, you guys think it's funny? Like, you walk these dogs without leashes. I'm the first one to call. I'm calling because your dog needs a leash. That's violating our city ordinance.
oh, but you know what? Don't call. Get on your My Waco app.
Oh, I forgot about the My Waco app. That's
Now.
awesome.
Now.
I will.
See?
And they're like, Professor Glad, you will call. Yes, because you're violating our ordinance.
That's right.
Please leash your animals,
That's
especially
right.
in Cameron Park, and also pick up their waste.
That's right.
Because I am the person that will call the ranger. I'm that
yeah.
person.
Oh.
I'm like, they just didn't.
As you should.
Because we
But
want to
now-
keep our community beautiful.
Hit your My Waco app.
My Waco app. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay, go.
Okay. So now I want our viewers to notice a little bit more about yourself.
Okay.
So talk about like your favorite book. What book changed your life or you would tell our students must read?
Okay, so there are two different books. The one, changed my life, must reads. So the poems of Nikki Giovanni changed my life.
I love Nikki Giovanni.
That changed my life. I found my voice
Okay.
in her poems. I am not gonna break y'all off with ego tripping, but I could. But the book that I think everybody, I don't care who you are, must read is The Love Songs of W.B. Du Bois. And it is not about W.B. Du Bois at all.
I have not read that.
It is, the author is Andrea J.
Okay.
It is about truly how we're all interconnected. So have you ever met someone and you feel like you know them?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, man, woman, boy, girl, child, white, black, green, purple, whatever.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You met them, your spirit and soul connects to them, whether in a positive way or a negative way.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. This book breaks that down, and it begins in the beginning of this country with relationships between the African enslaved, the natives, the indentured servants here, and what came to be, because I think Georgia,
Okay.
what came to be the slave owners and plantation owners, but travels through time about how families intersect and interconnect. And I think it ends in the 1990s. I listened to it, and it was long. I think the book was like, it wasn't as long as Obama's book, but it was long. I'm driving, talking in the car, like, what? Wait, she did. That's so and so's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to the TV too. Don't worry about it. I don't talk in the movies though, because that's rude. But
Yes.
if I'm in the car by myself, mind your business.
Yeah. I'm talking to NPR.
What?
Yeah, I'm just like,
Okay.
they did not.
Yeah. So, but that book, it was a long book, but it was an awesome read, and it was so exciting. And you got to look at,
Okay.
well, and then you think of you self-analyzing, like, these people who, I have either immediately loved or immediately despised. There is a reason for that. Oh, it was beautiful.
Okay, name me the book again.
The Love Songs of
Okay.
W.B. Du Bois.
W.B. Du Bois.
Andrea J.
Okay. Must read. I'm going to get that, buy that book. Du Bois actually taught at my college, Clark Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, it was called, they merged it, but.
I know.
Yeah, but anyway, he's one. So I've seen his original writings.
Yeah.
They have it in the museum.
Yeah.
It's just like, like he wrote this. And he wrote all his lectures.
Now he did show up as a character, but it was very minor.
Got you.
It was very minor.
Okay. Why did they? Okay, I'm not going to, because I want to ask you why they choose Du Bois.
That's-
But I think I know why they chose him because of his research. Okay. Okay. I'm like excited to read this book already. Got you. Next one. Okay. What's your so now we're going to talk about Du Bois. What's your leadership philosophy?
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
I honestly think I thought about this for a long time, and I think it's kind of like how you parent your children, because
Yeah.
you parent them all differently.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, and the end goal, you want to be able to advance advance to your goal with the people who you're working with, growing and advancing in the process. I think that you're gonna get the moments in time where you have to be, transformative. You'll have those times where I've got to be transactional. You've got those times where you're going to be. I work for the people, so I would definitely say there's a part of servant leadership in it. Now I can tell you what I'm not.
Okay.
More so that I'm not a micromanager. So you're never gonna get. I can't if we've set a goal and we've charted a path.
Yeah.
Okay. I expect that you do that.
Right. And they should have the talent and know what all to do it. So you.
Well, and even if you don't, okay, let's ask questions and find a way.
Yeah.
I am probably one of the best cheerleaders ever.
Okay.
And if you are showing initiative, we're gonna dig into that.
Okay.
Because I want you to be better. I have always said if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get in a new room.
Agreed. Yeah.
So.
Speaking of that, who inspires you?
The easy answer is my mama, because I saw what kind of leader she was. I saw what kind of human she was, and it is one behavior to be patterned.
Yeah.
I right now am inspired by, there is a woman who is the mayor of Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
Named Victoria Woodards.
Okay.
And I have gotten to know her over the course of me being elected, and she is now the president of the National League of Cities. But I watched her leadership and governance style that is no nonsense. It is straightforward, but it is full of love, and it is capped in grace.
Okay.
But when you need to have it, she's gonna give it to you.
Okay.
And I like that.
Got you. What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self that the animal that wins is the one that you feed the most. And so if that's doubt, it's going to be doubt. If that's confidence, it's going to be confidence. If that's love, it's going to be love. But the one you feed the most is the one that's going to win. And so I have always been precocious. I mean, I was old when I got here. I was surrounded by adults all the time. And so I don't know any different to not speak my mind, so that was not a thing. But I think that I would play more as a younger person. Yeah. I mean, I'm not tripping about it, but I think I'd play more. Yeah. I didn't, again, I told you, I found my voice in Nikki Giovanni. It was later in life.
Yeah. After college?
In college.
In college.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Now, have I been performing Nikki Giovanni since I was in middle school? Yep. Yeah. Did I believe it? No.
No. Yeah. But you spoke it, and it got into you.
The one you feed.
Yep. Okay. There we go. Last one. What's your life purpose?
So I am a believer, and I think that, we are responsible for loving our neighbor. However, my personal scripture that I was been drilled in me on is 2 Timothy 2:15. So it's, study to show thyself approved unto God. A workman needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Do your best for your people. And that is what honors God. All I have is my best. And it not my best for me.
Right.
But my best for us.
Right.
And we'll be cool.
Got you. Awesome.
I mean, it's not prophetic, but it's just what works for me.
No, it works. Like, I'm with you. Like, especially the animal you feed. I'm on that for right now because I'm feeding silence and quietness. And that's giving me things that I would, and I'm feeding health. And I'm feeding, I'm going to try to run. Yeah, that's funny, but.
It's not. You can do it.
No, because I run really funny, but. It's like, and I'm saying no to other things and people that's not on that purpose and yes to me. And what does that yes looks like? But yeah, so, no, I love it. I love it. Is there anything else you want to let the listening audience, or the people in the YouTube world know?
Listen, so your community is only going to be what you put in it. You have to be engaged. This is not football. You cannot watch from the stands and expect to, you can't sideline coach. You got to get in the game. So what does that mean? That means if you can't come to council meetings, find your council member that's doing a live or giving updates on social media. Read the newspaper, at least the local section. Yeah. Turn the news on in the morning, your local news, to know what's happening in your community. Get out there, tour your city like a visitor.
Yes.
Because you won't know what's happening when you go to school, go home, go to work, go to whatever. Oh, there's nothing here. Let me go to Dallas. This weekend, so, this is evergreen, I'm sure, but if we're talking about the third weekend in April.
Okay.
In these United States of Waco, you've got the reopening of the Suspension Bridge, the first concert in Brazos Nights, the first concert of the Levitt Grant. It's 4 and 5 other things going on in town. So there is always something going on in this city. Find what suits you. But you've got to get involved.
Yeah.
You've got to get involved because we can't talk about what's happening from the sidelines and then expect it to be different.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming. It's so informative. I want to thank everyone. I'm your host, Felicia Gladden. I want to thank my crew, my production crew, Paula Unger, Connor, Edgar, Bunty. Thank you guys. They're awesome technicians. All right, see you in the next episode.